What's up, guys? Welcome to Le de Chambre, El de Chambre. And today, man, I want to give my quick impressions on episode one of Lovecraft. I just started watching. I just watched episode one. Man, this is a good show. So I want to drop quick impressions, and I just want to focus on three characters: Atticus Freeman, Uncle George, and Letitia. So first, Letitia, three things that I had in mind. That number one, Letitia, she is a fighter. Number two, she will sacrifice for the greater good. I'm very impressed by that. I want to see where that goes. She'll sacrifice for the greater good. And number three, she's brave. Now, for those who've seen episode one in particular, when they are in that cabin and those monsters or whatever on the outside, she's willing to sacrifice and run and go to the car to get the car because they need the car. And she's like, I'm fast. So she's brave. And what was also the other thing that was of interest was she quoted Psalm 23:4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So, in the midst of being attacked by monsters, um, she was like, you know, you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So it's funny, they had to fight two types of monsters, which is another interesting note, but we'll probably get onto that later. Um, Now, Uncle George, let's go to Uncle George real quick. Uncle George, three things initially from episode one that's very interesting to me. He's a trailblazer. He writes guidebooks, and we're talking the 1950s Jim Crow South. So he's writing guidebooks so Negroes know where to go and not to go when they're traveling to the country, because they're trying to avoid, being hung and killed and murdered and all that. So he publishes guidebooks. Uh, very interesting. Number two, he's burdened by a secret. I don't know what it is yet. Uh, has something to do with Atticus' mom. We can see it. There's a secret he holds, but he's a trailblazer. But he's burdened by this secret, and like I said, he writes guidebooks. Hopefully, we can get into that later on too. Now, let's get to Atticus, the main hero of or what he seems to be the main hero of the series. Atticus Freeman. One, he's a dreamer. I want to say there's a like visionary aspect to him. I don't know yet. Like I said, only episode one, but he's a dreamer, definitely. He's right now, at least as far as episode one, he's doing a reverse prodigal son. For those who know the story of the prodigal son in the Holy Writ, you have a father who gave his son, one of his sons wanted his inheritance now. So he went out, left the house, wasted his inheritance, ended up, living on the street. So when he came back home, his father embraced him and loved him, even though the son had squandered all his savings, but his father took him in and accepted him. So we got a situation where Atticus, as we see in the story, leaves home because of his father's harsh treatment, not loving treatment, harsh treatment. But then he hears his father's missing and he's coming back to get him, find him and bring him home. So he has a little reverse prodigal son thing going on. And lastly, he's not shocked by the monsters they encounter. Now, for those who've seen episode one, you know what I'm talking about. He's not shocked. And that's actually a number three for Uncle George, too. He's not shocked. And one of the reasons, at least I believe, or I'm interpreting, is Jim Crow. They're already facing Jim Crow. Now, Jim Crow is shocked by the monsters because see, Jim Crow, like anything else, see, evil or evil people think they're at the top of the food chain. So when they come across something that's heavier, they don't know what to do. So they're losing their mind. But Atticus isn't shocked by the monsters. He has like a calm reserve to, I mean, he's scared like anyone else, but compared to the others, there's a calmer reserve and what he needs to do. At least that's what I got. So it's going to be interesting to see how this story threads, how it goes on in episode 2. But that's all I have for this, quick impressions, Lovecraft, episode 1. You need to check it out.